This morning I'm going to make a tortellini salad with plenty of vegetables, and I'm going to chill it so that we can eat it for dinner later in the day. These are the ingredients. We're going to use some tricolored cheese tortellini. This is from the refrigerator section. You can use whatever kind of tortellini you like, but this is a 9-ounce package. I'm using some Wegmans basting oil. This is a sunflower oil infused with garlic, thyme, and parsley. And you can see all the nice flavors floating around in there. Really nice oil to start with. I have 2 small zucchini, 1 red onion, also some grape tomatoes, some fresh basil from the garden, and a nice little jar of tomato pesto. This is also a Wegmans brand. You can use the regular green pesto if you like. To prepare and make this happen real fast, I'm going to wash all the vegetables, of course. Then I'm going to chop up the asparagus in 1.5-inch pieces. I'm going to chop up the red onion into small slices and the zucchini into small chunks. Then I'm going to stir fry those 3 vegetables and set them aside. In the meantime, I'm going to get the bowl that I'm going to serve these in and slice the grape tomatoes in halves. Also, I'll chop up the fresh basil and toss it in with the tomatoes. Okay, I picked some nice thin asparagus at the store. It's a nice variety right now, and the price is not too bad at this time of year. So I'm just going to cut off the tips and then cut small pieces. And I'm not going to use the thicker dried up ends in this one, so we'll set that aside. We have the 2 nice zucchinis. You can use 1 large one or a couple small ones. I have small ones because they're just starting to become plentiful in this area, so they're not real big and hard to handle yet, but I'm just going to cut them in halves and small chunks. Next, the red onion. This is a small red onion. It's very powerful and juicy, and I don't want to overpower the salad with a lot of harsh onion, but I do like the flavors that come from this. So we're just going to slice this up. We're going to make thin slices out of this so that they can be separated in the salad and you don't get too much onion in one bite. Alright, let's get this frying pan started up with a little basting oil, and we'll be back to cut up the tomatoes and basil while the stir fry is cooking. This is a 5-quart cast iron pan with enameled finish. I'm going to take the basting oil, shake it up, get those herbs circulating, and then we're going to put a little basting oil into the bottom of this pan. Just about a tablespoon. You can see all the herbs in there. That's what's going to give us our flavor right from the start. As soon as this gets hot, we'll drop the veggies in there. Let's test the oil. Oh, it's ready. Hear that sizzle? Get the veggies in there. Toss that oil around a little bit so the seasonings get on all the vegetables. I'm going to pour this back into the bowl that we started with because we want the vegetables to cool off to add to the rest of the salad. Without much fuss, I'm going to take the cast iron pan and fill it with a couple cups of water. I'm leaving all the residue in there for flavor, but then we're going to start cooking the tortellini. Okay, the pot's actually still hot, And I'm going to bring this to a boil and drop in the tortellini pasta. Alright, back to the cutting board. We have about a half of a container of grape tomatoes. You can use cherry tomatoes, or you can even cut up plum tomatoes into chunks. So all I'm going to do here is slice these in half and get them into the bowl. And take these nice little tomatoes and toss them right into the bowl that we're going to serve our salad. Cut them up. I like to cut them in half because it lets a lot of the flavors that we use in our sauce go into the tomato, not just sit on the skin. Then we'll take our fresh basil, and I just like to not use the stems too much, but I take the leaves and I fold them in half, make a nice little bunch, and just slice through that. Toss that into the bowl too. Toss them around a little bit. And let's get the pasta started. The water should be boiling by now. This is an egg pasta, and it's filled with mozzarella and ricotta cheese. And we're just going to cook this for 2 minutes as the water returns to a low boil, because we don't want to cook it any longer, allowing the pasta pieces to open up. So we have to be very careful about not overdoing it here. Okay, before any of them open up, that's 2 minutes at a low boil. I'm going to start scooping them out carefully. And I'm letting them go through a little strainer here. Normally I might take pasta and pour it through a colander, but I don't want these to fall apart. So I'm carefully scooping them out through a slotted spoon and letting them sit in a little strainer here to cool a little bit. Alright, so we're back at the counter here. We have the tortellini cooling off, we have the veggies cooled pretty well, and we have the tomato basil in the serving bowl. So let's start to put it together. I'm going to add the veggies first. And I have the tomato pesto sauce here, so we're going to also add that to the vegetables before we toss in the pasta. I don't know if you ever used the tomato pesto, but it's really flavorful, and it's made from basil, sun-dried tomatoes, and Grana Padano cheese from Italy. So it's really good stuff. We'll break the seal, and you can see it's very thick and does not look delicious. So we're going to drop some forkfuls into this, and you don't have to use the whole jar. I believe half a jar would be about enough, but we'll toss it around and take a look. Of course, if you use more vegetables, or you might want to add more sauce, but this is mixing very well. Alright, looking great. Time for the tortellini. I'm just going to shake it in there, let it separate, and lightly toss it. Wow. Did you ever have a tortellini salad like this? Now, we are going to let this chill in the refrigerator all day. But you can't cook something without tasting it, right? So I'm just going to try a little bit of this. A little bit of each of the flavors with the nice pesto sauce. Zucchini. Mmm. Mmm. Wow, that's really good. That asparagus has a little crunch to it, and the tortellini's soft and flavorful. Oh my goodness. I'm glad you were here to watch me put this together. See, it didn't take long at all, and this is a great, nutritious, and fresh salad to serve on a hot summer day like this. So I hope you get a chance to make this recipe.